to the Hobart Commuter and the 7 deadly sins of the urban cyclist. Alright, or at least how they apply to me. So, what prompted this? Well, I was watching TV a few weeks back and I came across this show called 24 Hours in Emergency. If you haven't actually seen the show, you will have seen one like it. Basically, it's a documentary style television show where they just follow a few patients that come through the emergency department. Now, it's and basically what happened was there was this guy who came in. His face was completely covered in bloody gauze. You could not see his face. It was just horrible. He had multiple contusions to his skull and he had multiple fractures to his cerebral spine. And it was just awful. And look, from my basically self-righteous, self-congratulatory position of someone who looks upon an activity that they've abandoned, I said to the screen, or in my head, I said, dude, you cannot ride motorcycles, they are just death traps. And of course, you can see what's coming here. It slowly gets revealed that this dude was not a cyclist. He was indeed, so it wasn't a motorcyclist, he was indeed a cyclist. And I'll be honest with you, I felt physically sick, and it took me a while to get to sleep. When you get that kind of that perception of invulnerability kind of shattered or chipped away at it a little more with that kind of blunt reality. And it got me thinking about what else I could do to make myself more safe on the road. Now, this is not to say that what happened to that guy could have been avoided by him. He was, by all accounts, an experienced cyclist. I don't know the details because I only saw about 15 minutes of the show. But I would strongly suspect that it wasn't his fault what happened to him. I would suspect that it was merely incredible bad luck and an error on the part of someone else. Similar thing happened to a young Tasmanian girl very recently, actually, of this recording. She was riding around Central Park in New York and she was in a bike lane and a car veered into the bike lane and she swerved to miss it and hit a rubbish truck. Incredibly bad luck. There's nothing you can do about that. Just hope that the gods haven't got your cars marked at any particular moment. Whew. Nevertheless, I got thinking about what I could control. And subsequently, I come up with these 7 deadly sins, all of which start with I, because I guess they're about me. Well, what isn't on this channel, but you know, I as in the subjective I. Anyway, sin number 1. What is sin number 1? I've forgotten already. I'm supposed to remember 7 of them. Sin number 1 is indecisiveness. Come on, Hobart Commuter, seriously, if you're going to do something, you have to be decisive. I'm thinking about changing lanes here. Not right now. I'm thinking about this in the terms of the sin. You've got to... Maybe I will change lanes. Yeah, why not? Well, you've got to be decisive in what you do. If you see a gap, go for it. If you see a path, commit to it. That's a big one for me. Number 2, sin number 2 would be inattention for me. I remember when I did ride a motorcycle, briefly when I was a teenager. The one thing I remember our instructor telling us is I'm okay here. Is never ride if you've had an argument or after you've had an argument with your girlfriend. There were no women in the class, so it was a pretty pertinent remark. And I always remember that you really got to be careful. Your head's got to be in on the road. Like thinking about the road, like listening to music, for example, when you're cycling. That to me is madness. Doing a video blog while you're cycling? Come on, man. Zing. Sin number 3, you saw it back there when I changed lanes when I probably could have waited. Sin number 3 is impatience. Patience is a big one for me. When you're on the bike, your ability to move through the streets, it's intoxicating. You can do just about anything. All right, I'll think about it, pal. But I swear to God, man, you're risking a few seconds for the rest of your life. And it annoys me when I'm impatient. It really does. I've got a family to go home to. I've got to think about that. Sin number 4. Sin number 4 would be insouciance, I'd have to say. All right, I kind of threw that in there because it's a cool word. It basically means indifference or nonchalance. Think of a teenager being really cool on the side of a street. It's not good. Like, I gotta remind myself, no one's watching me, no one cares what I look like. Dude, just ride safe, wear the safety gear, and do what you need to do to get home. No one's looking at you. Sin number 5. Sin number 5. So speaking of cool, let's talk about losing our cool. Okay, sin number 5 is instability. Not stability as in physical handling. That could equally be a sin. That might be ineptitude. There are certain skills that I still want to learn on the bike that I should learn, especially if I have to make an evasive maneuver. But instability, that's a bad one for me. If somebody does something wrong for me and disrespects me on the road or cuts me off or something, man, it drives me crazy. And I lose focus. I get angry. I get that white line fever, that white road line fever, and I lose it. And I find that I'm at my most vulnerable and susceptible to having an accident when I'm angry and my mind is elsewhere. Whoops. All right, sin number 6, irreproachability. Just gonna let this car pass here. No, he's okay, he's parking. Sin number 6, irreproachability. Right, so what does that mean? That means without reproach, being innocent of something. Now, this is probably my number 1 sin. I tend to be quite self-righteous in the way that I ride on the road. I try and be as predictable as I can. I try to observe the law wherever I can, unless it's not in my safety to do so. But I swear to God, cycling, man, cycling is a lesson in humility. You have to be humble. You're riding with the bulls here. All right, these are big machines, and they're getting bigger. I'm going to do a blog on that, actually. The cars are getting bigger. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy, the size of the cars on the street. Case in point, on my right. Like, what do you need that thing for? Man, sin number 7, last sin, is, let's call it ill consideration, or being ill prepared. Yeah, so I find it's hugely important in terms of my concentration to consider my route and prepare for my route before I've done it. And even if that just means mentally mapping out where I'm going to go, it basically reduces the number of variables when I'm on the road. There's variables I can't control in terms of other users' behaviour and stuff like that, and road conditions. One I can control is where I'm going to be on the road, what turns I'm going to take, so I don't have to be focusing my attention on that as well. All right, thanks for coming with me for that particular ride. I think it was a bit longer than normal, and my mic fell off too, so I hope I didn't lose too much audio. But as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.